Hey everyone, this is part 2 of recovering Active Directory. In part 1 of this video, what we did, we tried out Recycle Bin, we enabled Recycle Bin, and we saw that if the object is deleted, we can easily recover it from Recycle Bin. And then secondly, we did a full backup and one system state backup. And in this video, we're going to recover Active Directory. Now, when it comes to recovering Active Directory can be recovered in two different ways. So let's check that out. Check that out. Now, when we talk about Active Directory recovery, Active Directory is, first of all, we need to understand what is Active Directory. We all know that Active Directory is a database that is known as NTDS that sits on server 2012. So here's server number 1, server number 2, and they are connected to our same network. So on both servers, if we install ADDS role, Active Directory is installed and both becomes DCs. And as soon as both become DCs, they both have a database file that is known as NTDS. So this is NTDS database. Now in Active Directory, we also know that NTDS, they both replicate with each other. So anything that is created here, you create a user here, this user will also be created on this machine as well. So all Active Directory replicate information. Now, just one more thing, how this replication works. The way it works is each Active Directory, once you install first domain controller and it has Active Directory, it starts with a serial number. So there is a serial number assigned to each Active Directory. For example, very first server will have Active Directory serial number 1, and that serial number 1 means that this is the serial number. It means that this is the first act. This is just a new Active Directory. And as soon as you start creating object, I created a second object, the serial number is changed to 2, and then you start creating OUs and add computer, join computer. This serial number starts increasing and increases with all these changes, and the serial number shows that how latest this Active Directory is. So this Active Directory serial number indicates that how latest the Active Directory is. For example, let's say the current Active Directory version is, the serial number is this, meaning this is the serial number. Now as soon as the second Active Directory, you install the second domain controller, this Active Directory starts from 0, and 0 means this is a new Active Directory, and it needs to get all changes from here. So this DC will compare its serial number from here. It says that, oh, this is bigger, so which means this Active Directory needs to replicate everything from here to here until this comes equal to the same serial number. Once both directories are same serial number, meaning they both have same amount of objects, and then from there it goes on. Let's say on this domain controller you created 5 users, so then the serial number will be increased from here to, let's say, 45, and then in next 15 minutes, once they both replicate information, they would say, oh, I have 1240 serial number, whereas this one is 412, meaning this database is latest. So now this database will replicate information and would bring it to the same serial number. So this is how replication works within Active Directory. All domain controllers should be exactly the same all the time. Now this is what Active Directory is. This is one thing. Now secondly, when it comes to Active Directory disaster, we can have in Active Directory, we can lose an object, we can accidentally delete an object. Now in Active Directory, we do have that new option called Recycle Bin. We can bring that object back from Recycle Bin. Now when we go into low-level Active Directory restore, Active Directory can be restored in few different ways. For example, number one, one way is to create a new domain controller. I can create a basically new domain controller. For example, if this domain controller is completely dead, all I need to do is to create a new domain controller and install ADDS role in it. What it does, this will replicate everything from this domain controller, and the new Active Directory will be installed. So new DC is one option. Second option is we can also restore it from the backup. But in order to restore from the backup, you must back up Active Directory. So this Active Directory can be, we can take a full server backup. So we can take a full server backup, or we can take a system state backup, just like we saw in part 1 of the video. System state backup. System state backup will back up Active Directory and NTDS file. Now, when you about to restore full backup or system state backup, uh, in full backup you're restoring a complete server. But in from a system state backup, we can restore objects. We can restore just Active Directory. Now, Active Directory restore is of two types. Active Directory restore is of two types. Number one, authoritative restore. Authoritative restore, and second one, non-authoritative restore. Authoritative restore and non-authoritative restore. In authoritative restore, what happens is, so this is my two servers. Authoritative restore is mostly used for accidental deleted objects, so mostly used for accidental deletion. If the object is accidentally deleted, we can use authoritative restore. Authoritative restore works in this manner. So first of all, you need to have one server or two domain controller, and we take a system state backup of one domain controller. Let's say I took a backup on this disk. This is an external disk. We can take backup on a tape drive as well. Now here I have a backup of this disk here. Now what happens is, if let's say we deleted this object accidentally and now we need to bring that object back, what I can do, I can go back to Active Directory and bring it back from the backup and bring it back to Active Directory. As soon as you bring it back, since this object is newly added, this Active Directory has the latest serial number, and once it replicates back, it will again delete that object. Because in the current Active Directory, this object is currently deleted. So if you restore that object, this object will be considered as old serial number, and what happens is, because this other domain controller, when it replicates information, it will delete that object. Now, in order to cope with this issue, since we do have an object that must be restored and this should be updated as well, what happens is we restore an object from Active Directory and then we call it that this is an authoritative object. Authoritative. So when you call this object authoritative, what happens? It increases the current database serial number to 100,000. And as soon as 100,000 serial number is increased, as soon as this object is restored and the serial number is increased to 100,000, as soon as this replication happens between these two, this replication, this Active Directory will be having a smaller serial number. For example, in this case, let's say this was sitting in 1245 and this was also sitting in 12245 before the restore. Now after the restore, this has become 1245000. So which means this is a newer, bigger serial number than this. So instead this would replicate here. What it does, now this database will replicate to this Active Directory, hence this new user that is restored from the backup, it will be created here. This is known as authoritative restore. Authoritative restore, we restore an object and make it authority. Whereas in non-authoritative restore is done mostly when we need to restore from the backup complete Active Directory. So uh, let's say this domain controller just died. If this domain controller is dead, we can restore this domain controller from the backup. This is backup, and you completely restored this domain controller, but the other domain controller is still sitting on the serial number, and when you restored it, it was sitting on 1100. So this is older serial number and this is newer. So what happens is that this Active Directory will think that this is the newest version, although you have restored Active Directory, but it is non-authoritative. Unlike this one, this is non-authoritative. As soon as it is restored, this will be updated and get replication from here. Hence, it will update the Active Directory. Non-authoritative restore, that this backup you're restoring is non-authoritative. It will be updated with current Active Directory. Now, this is a quick explanation of authoritative and non-authoritative restore. Now, let's go back to our example and restore Active Directory. In previous video, what we did, we created backup, and now in this video, I'm going to restore Active Directory. So right here, I have tools. We need to go into tools. Now we need to go into backup. First of all, let's verify our backup. Let's verify our backup. So I'm going to go into local backup, and I can see I have two backups here. One backup, in order to double click on this, this is a full backup of a system, which is a bare metal backup. It includes C drive, it includes system state backup, and the other backup is just a system state backup. Now let's try this out. So I have this previous backup. Let's just restore a file and folder. Now from this backup, if you need to restore a file and folder, let's go into directory here. Let's try to delete something. So I'm gonna go into Windows folder, and I'm gonna go into, let's say, debug folder, and here let's select everything and delete. So I selected everything and delete, and just select this option. It will be able to delete some files, but not all the files. So some files that are in use, it won't be able to delete, but it was able to delete many other files. In order to restore, let's say you accidentally deleted some files from C drive, since we do have a backup, we can restore them. So I'm going to go to recovery, and in recovery, I'm going to select here, and here I'm going to select, so system state, I don't need system state, I need the file from a full backup. So bare metal backup, just make sure it is a bare metal backup. You go to next option, select files and folders, and right here it will read what was backed up at that time. And once it comes back, we can go down to that folder that was deleted earlier, and we can restore those files. So it came back, and let's go down to, it is still loading. Yeah, right here, go to Windows, and we'll go into boot, and these are the files that we need to recover. So I'm going to select debug and next. It is still loading, so we might give it some more time. So next, and next, and recover. Now if the recovery goes successful, we should be able to see our files back in computer. So here, go into C drive, go into Windows, and go into debug, and in few moments you should be able to see the files. So it is being completed, and here the recovery was successful. Close this, go back to this folder, and here I'm able to see all the files that were recovered. So this is how we do file and folder recovery. Now the next very important part is how to do authoritative and non-authoritative restore. In order to do that, first of all, let's go into our Active Directory and delete some objects. So here, just open Active Directory users and computers. Now before doing this, make sure that you do have backup. And secondly, in order to do authoritative restore, we need to remember we need to remember a DN of this OU. For example, I'm going to delete this or Toronto OU, which will delete everything inside. So first of all, let's try to delete this. And as soon as we try to delete this, it won't be erase protected object. But before I delete, I want to show you something here. Let's go into advanced features and go into properties of Toronto, and here we'll go into objects, and here unprotect this to delete it. But before I delete it, I want to show you something, an attribute reader, and apply changes and go down here. When you do authoritative restore, we are going to need this value that is known as distinguish name or the DN. And that DN is simply the address of OU within Active Directory. For example, this is my Active Directory. It is under Active Directory, it is right sitting under this Active Directory, so it is Toronto OU, and this is what it's saying, that this is OU, this Toronto is a OU, and it sits directly under this domain. So domain is just divided into two variables, DC is equal to egreen, DC is equal to PRI, and OU is equal to Toronto. It's just saying that Toronto OU is sitting in this domain. But when you restore authoritatively, you need to remember these the DN of this OU. So we'll remember this for now, and I'm gonna close this. So let's now delete it. So here, delete. Let's say our Toronto OU is deleted. Now once the Toronto OU is deleted, all the user along with Toronto OU is deleted. All I need to do is now restore it. In order to restore it, we must restore it using DSRM mode. DSRM, we need to start the server in a directory services repair mode. In order to do that, we need to go to start and we need to type here msconfig. msconfig, and as soon as you go there, we need to say boot and we need to change this to this Active Directory repair mode. Now at this point, I would say highly recommend that you take a snapshot of your active this machine, because this restore can go wrong. This restore, so sometimes you might have to retry the restore again and again few times in order to get it right, because this says you're about to make changes to Active Directory, to the operating system. For that reason, I'm taking a snapshot just before I try a restore, and I'll let it complete. Once this is complete, then I'll just restart the machine. Now again, while this is scanning, I need to start this server in a safe mode and in a Active repair mode, since I need to repair my Active Directory. Now why would I need to repair my Active Directory? And the reason is that we accidentally deleted an OU from this, and now we need to bring that OU back. Now in Server 2012, the easiest way would have been to go to recycle bin and restore, but here we need to try authoritative and non-authoritative restore. Now always remember, whenever you need to do an authoritative restore, you must do a non-authoritative restore before you do an authoritative restore. Now once this snapshot is completed, I am going to restart the computer. When you restart a computer, computer starts in a normal mode, but we don't want this server to be started in a normal mode. We want server to be started in a DSRM mode. I'm going to go there one more time. So in order to start a server in DSRM mode, which is known as Directory Services Repair mode, I need to go to start, and here I'm going to go into msconfig. I'm going to type msconfig and just open this. We don't need to start a server in normal mode, but we need to boot. Boot is another word for start in safe mode and Active Directory repair mode. My snapshot is taken, and I'm going to press OK and restart this machine. Now, authoritative restore or non-authoritative restore can only be done in DSRM mode. Once you start a machine in DSRM mode, Active Directory drivers are stopped, Active Directory is stopped, so you will only be able to log in using DSRM password. Now, where would you get a DSRM password? If you remember, in the beginning when you installed Active Directory, it asks, during Active Directory installation, it asks at one time that enter a password during Active Directory installation visit. That password is a DSRM password. That password is used to repair or recover Active Directory. So here, now once you log in. You won't be able to log in during with domain because this is the DSRM mode. Let me show you. So let me try password. It says no domain controller, no login server available. The reason is now the server has started in DSRM mode. So for that, I need to go back and select other user, and instead of writing /administrator, I just need to write administrator. And here, and you notice that it is changed to server, so it will be logging into server as DSRM mode, and I need to write the password that you set up when you installed Active Directory, and next. And the DSRM indication is you would see a safe mode here in all four corners. So server manager start. In order to restore Active Directory, we can restore Active Directory using GUI, or we can restore Active Directory using Windows Server Backup as well. Now let's go into Windows Server Backup. Windows Server Backup, in when it comes to Active Directory recovery, uh, it doesn't work properly. So a good way of recovering Active Directory is by command line. Now here I'm going to first show you that how you can recover system state of this server from local backup. So once you go into local backup, it will show you the two backups that we took earlier, and there is a recover option. We can recover Active Directory and select system state backup. But most of the time, going this approach, sometime it works and sometime it doesn't. So at the same time, I'm gonna once while this is loading on, I'm gonna go on to command prompt. So go into command prompt, and in a command prompt, type a command called wbadmin. So wb meaning Windows Backup and admin. And here, first of all, I need to know how many backups are available. Just like in this, I have these backups available, 1, 2. So here, if you need to see a command line, you need to say wbadmin get version. And as soon as you see get version, it shows me that I have two backups available. One backup is this, which is basically this one, 125. So this is 118, that is this backup. And this is second backup, 125. 125 is just a system state backup. 125 is a system state backup. This is a full backup. So I can So VMware tools, no, I don't want to do this at the moment. Uh, so here I have two types of backup. In order to run a system restore, or non-authoritative restore, this is how we do it. So I need to first of all write wbadmin, and then this shows me a command. And here what I need is wbadmin start system state recovery. And as soon as I do, oh, actually, this is restarting because it is VMware tools are just installed on this machine. It was good that I haven't started the backup, otherwise it would have messed up with my server. So VMware tools from VMware Workstation. It has nothing to do with Active Directory. And let's wait for a few moments, and we'll try that again. So let's go back here again and log in with DSRM password. We'll go back to command prompt. So in order to restore, remember we are here to restore Toronto OU, and Toronto OU doesn't exist. And this is a DSRM mode. In DSRM mode, Active Directory doesn't work. This is why you see it red. And if I try to open Active Directory users and computers, it won't work. It's saying Active Directory. In DSRM mode, this is recovery repair mode. So here, Active Directory is not working. So I need to open command prompt. Before I need to do authoritative restore, I need to do non-authoritative restore. In order to do that, I need to first of all write wb admin and get version. Get version command will show me how many backup versions are available in this. So it is just getting the version. I can get the same information by going into Windows Server Backup. So here again it's loading the data. Loading data, and probably that's the same thing happening here. So it's just gathering information and it will load it in few moments. I'm gonna pause while this is loading on. So it took a few minutes and it loaded. Here I can see local backup. One backup was taken at 125. This is taken at 118. This is the recovery we just performed before this. And here when you do WB admin get version, basically it's the same information. This is one backup that was taken at 118, which is this one, and second backup 125, which is this one. Now 125 is just a system state backup, and 118 is a bare metal backup, which is equal to full backup. Now in this, now I need this version ID, which is this version ID, to restore the system state backup. So for that, what I need to do, I can go from here and say recover, and when I do, I can go here and select 125. I need the same system state backup, and next, and not the file folder backup, sorry, I need to go back and I need to select system state backup, and right from here I can say original location. I can also select authoritative backup, but this honestly sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So instead of doing it here, I'm gonna do it from command line. So here I'm gonna say wb admin. If you write wb admin without anything, it will give you help. So from here I need to start wb admin start system state recovery. So here I'm gonna say wb admin start system state recovery, and as soon as I do this, it will give me now help. It's saying, okay, you wrote this wb admin start system state recovery, but you also need this as well. So this comes from, if I go up, I need to bring this version ID. So for this, in order to copy this, when you just try to copy, it won't work. All you need to do, right click here, click mark, right click, and now select this, just this one line, and press enter. Once you do, now this is copied, and all I need to do here is bring my command, write the command again, wb admin start system state recovery, and paste, and right here just click right, just right click and paste. So here I have this and enter. So it is what's happening, maybe the spelling, wb admin start system okay. Oh, I need to add dash, because there is a dash here, and yes, and enter. And as soon as I said again an error message, let's see what it, oh, okay, I don't need to add identifier, since in example there is no identifier. So I need to just go back here, and there is no space, and here, so dash, no, not here, actually here, dash, and enter. So now it's saying, do you want to recover system state recovery? We'll say yes, and as soon as you do, it asks you again. We need to press yes again, and now it starts the system state recovery. Now it's processing files. It is doing a system state recovery. Now this is a good way of doing it. You can also do it from here as well. It will take some time for system state recovery. Let's go down. And I'm going to pause the screen here. If anything comes up, I'll start recording. So it is now doing system state recovery. So it's just recovering all files, system restore. Now remember, in order to do authoritative restore, first we need to do this non-authoritative restore. Now once this is done, the Toronto OU will be restored, but it will be non-authoritative. In order to make it authoritative, we need to run few more commands. So I'll pause this video here, and once this is done, then I'm going to come back. Okay, so the recovery process has reached here. It's been about 6-7 minutes. It is still recovering, and it was able to process all these different files, and it is actually recovering about 7-8 gigs of data. And so overall progress 43%, meaning there are few left. And now on this side you can see it is also giving the system state recovery process on this here as well, which is 39, and so it will be now updated. As here it says 48%, it should be updated here as well. So let's pause our video, and once it is done, I'm going to come back. Okay, finally it got so it is restored, and it's saying the machine needs to be restarted. We won't restart it at the moment, and this message is saying that the wizard is open and after another restore process is working, so this will be closed. I'm going to press OK. So that is closed. Our system restore is successful. So on this window, it says that computer restart is required to complete the system restore operation. Yes to restart. So here, I don't want to restart because I need to do a authoritative authoritative restore. Let's see if I press yes, it's going to restart. What if I press no? It won't do anything. Without it won't do. So it seems like the only option is to start the server. Start. What I'm gonna do is, let's start. So that's the only thing that is required. So it will restart, and once it restarts, it should, I think, after restoring, because this is actually restoring system state. Let's hope everything comes back to normal. Now, sometime what it does after even restart, it goes back to a DSRM mode. In order to get it out of DSRM mode, if it goes into DSRM mode, we need to log into DSRM mode, and then we need to run msconfig and change it to normal mode. So during a restore process, it does restart few times, so that is completely normal. So it's just restarting, and it came back here, and let's log in. So it is asking for domain username. Let's try our domain here. So it's still, meaning if you're not able to log into domain, it is still in DSRM mode. We'll go back here and we'll log into DSRM window, and here, so it should give us a message that the restore was completed successfully. This is a WB admin continuing. We won't do anything until this gives us the message. It's just taking some time. In the meantime, our video is getting bigger and bigger. Uh, what I do is that in my videos, I try to make all of the videos less than half an hour, or ideal is no more than 15-20 minutes. But here, I'm gonna pause, and as soon as something comes up, I am going to start. So it just took a minute or two, and it's saying now the restore is complete. Enter, and now it goes back to DSRM mode. And all I need to do, and in order to do authoritative restore, Active Directory is still not working. The reason is that we are still in Active Directory repair mode. I'm going to go back here, go into CMD, and within CMD, I am going to run command to do authoritative mode. So since non-authoritative is done, and now all I need to do is I am going to use a command called ntdsutil, enter, and here you need to run another command. It is an ntds. This utility is used to connect to Active Directory low level, and here I'm gonna say, so first of all take help. So first I'm gonna run this command, activate instance, activate instance. If you write even few words and few letters from each, it will still work. Here ntds. So this is a command, activate instance this. The next command I'm going to do is authoritative restore, which is this one. So I can write few letters from here, few letters from here, AUTH, authoritative restore, and enter. I go into this menu. I'm going to take help again, and I need restore subtree. So I need to restore a OU. If I would need to restore an object user, then I use this, otherwise I use this. So in my case, I need to restore a complete OU, and that is restore subtree. I'm just following this, restore subtree, and here I need to give the OUDN. So OUDN was, it was OU is equal to Toronto, comma, it was under a domain called egreen, comma, it is under a domain called the last name of our domain, and enter. Soon as you do, it's saying you're about to perform authoritative restore. I said yes, and now it is just doing the restore, and it has done it successfully. Here it says increasing attributes version number by 1000. This is what we said here, that once you restore authoritatively, whatever the version number of your current Active Directory, it will be increased by 100,000. So that's what it just did here. It increased the number by 100,000, meaning this change is the latest change, and this will replicate to other domain controllers. So here we're done, and quit, and quit, and here I need to run msconfig again, msconfig, and here I need to change it back to unchecked safe mode so that my server starts in normal mode and restart. Now hopefully our complete restore process is done. If this doesn't work in one shot, retry again. We were able to take a snapshot of this VM so that we can revert back if required. This Active Directory restore process is not an easy process, so be ready to try, give it a try a few times in order to do it successfully. Now, once this server comes back, it will be a huge test for us that if our restore finished. successfully. So let's wait and see. Now the first time, once the machine is restored, it will take few minutes, few extra minutes to start a server, since it is a new Active Directory from that is restored from the backup. So we'll give it some time here. Okay, it took a few minutes and now server is started. Let's log in. The password and server manager. In order to verify our restore, we'll give it a few minutes to settle down. I'm not going to select it. It will restart the machine, but if it before it automatically restarts, let me quickly open ADUC, and within ADUC we have successfully restored Active Directory and the object. Guys, this is known as authoritative and non-authoritative restore. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if it is done, if you feel like this is done in a fast manner, you can always go back, pause, and try this at home on your servers. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.